A new industry rumor is stirring up the Samsung community, and it focuses on one of the Galaxy Ultra's most iconic features, the S Pen. The big question right now is simple: will Samsung finally redesign the S Pen system on the Galaxy S27 Ultra to make the phone thinner and more modern, or will it stick with the current approach for another year? According to a fresh report from Korea's ET News, Samsung may have decided not to radically change the S Pen setup on the Galaxy S27 Ultra. That's important, because earlier expectations suggested Samsung could follow the same strategy it used on the Galaxy Z Fold 7, removing the traditional digitizer. Layer 2 make the display thinner and the overall device slimmer. But if this leak is accurate, Samsung may have reviewed those plans and hit pause. Let's unpack what this means, why it matters, and how it could affect the Galaxy S27 Ultra's design, S Pen experience, and even wireless charging features. First, some quick context. Shortly after launching the Galaxy S26 series last month, Samsung publicly confirmed it wasn't giving up on the S Pen for its Ultra lineup. That announcement was a big deal because Samsung had already made a controversial move in the foldable category. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 removed the built-in digitizer layer that traditionally enables S Pen input. In other words, Samsung showed it's willing to change long-standing hardware if it helps make devices thinner. So when Samsung said it wanted to keep the S Pen on Ultra phones while also exploring new technology to slim them down, it sounded like a clear setup for a major shift with the Galaxy S27 Ultra next year. But ET News now claims that shift may not happen yet, the report says. Samsung had been planning to develop a slimmer display for the Galaxy S27 Ultra by removing the digitizer. The digitizer is the layer inside the display stack that detects stylus input specifically. Samsung's EMR-based S Pen technology, removing it, can create more internal space, which can lead to a thinner phone, a lighter build, or even room for other components. However, after reassessing its roadmap, Samsung has reportedly dropped the digitizer-less display plan for the Galaxy S27 Ultra generation. If true, that likely means the S27 Ultra will continue using a traditional digitizer layer, keeping the familiar S Pen experience intact, but limiting how much Samsung can slim the device down. And here's the key detail. Sources cited by ET News also reportedly confirm that Samsung is not planning to remove S Pen support from the Galaxy S27 Ultra, so if you're the kind of user who buys the Ultra specifically for note-taking, sketching, handwriting, or precise editing, this rumor should sound like reassurance. The S Pen isn't going anywhere, so why would Samsung pause a thinner redesign? One reason mentioned in the report is surprisingly straightforward lukewarm consumer interest in ultra-slim phones. Samsung already slimmed the Galaxy S26 Ultra down to around 7.9 millimeters this year, and the company may not see enough real-world demand to justify expensive, risky display changes just to shave off another fraction of a millimeter. In other words, Samsung might be thinking, if most people aren't asking for an even thinner Ultra, why gamble with a core feature like the S Pen? But there's another layer to this story, and it could be even more important for the future of Galaxy phones. Magnets. The ET News report also suggests Samsung may be reviewing the relationship between keeping a digitizer and adding internal magnets for wireless charging accessories. The report doesn't directly spell it out, but the implication is clear to anyone familiar with how Samsung's S Pen works. Samsung's S Pen on Ultra models typically uses EMR electromagnetic resonance to detect pen input. Strong internal magnets, like the kind you'd use for a MagSafe-style accessory ecosystem, can potentially interfere with EMR performance. That's why we've seen compatibility concerns on certain devices. When you add magnetic cases or attachments, the magnetic field can impact stylus accuracy, tracking, or reliability. So if Samsung sticks with the digitizer on the Galaxy S27 Ultra, it could make it harder to integrate stronger internal magnets for next-gen wireless charging alignment and magnetic at least without serious engineering workarounds. That's the trade-off this leak points toward. Keep the digitizer gives keep classic S Pen reliability, but keep the digitizer gives magnets become more complicated now. Here's where the wider Samsung roadmap gets interesting. At the same time, Samsung is rumored to be bringing S Pen support back to upcoming foldables, starting with a so-called wide fold model. Since Samsung already removed the digitizer from the Galaxy Z Fold 7, the company could use foldables as a testing ground for digitizer-less stylus technology. If Samsung can perfect a stylus system that doesn't require a traditional digitizer without sacrificing accuracy, latency, pressure sensitivity, or palm rejection, that breakthrough could eventually come back to the Galaxy S Ultra series, and that would unlock multiple upgrades at once: thinner phones, more internal space, and potentially a stronger push toward built-in magnetic ecosystems without EMR interference. So this leak doesn't necessarily mean Samsung has abandoned the idea. It may simply mean Samsung isn't ready to bet the Galaxy S27 Ultra on it yet. For now, if this rumor holds up, expect the Galaxy S27 Ultra to play it safe. Keep the proven digitizer-based S Pen setup, avoid risky display changes, and potentially delay major magnetic charging upgrades for another generation.